In the Spider-Verse comics or animation of the 80s and 90s, we've seen Cassandra Webb, the best multitasker in the Marvel Universe. She's got a couple of things going for her. She's blind, telepathic, paraplegic, clairvoyant, and a precognitive mutant that plays more roles than the usual superhero. But what Sony has shown on the big screen isn't the same as what we've seen in the comics. It's a different story altogether with some similar psychic powers. In the comics, we can see that despite her physical limitations, she isn't just your usual superhero in distress. She is a skilled medium who effortlessly blends the supernatural with the commonplace. She has myasthenia gravis and is attached not just to life support but also to a system carefully designed by her husband, which resembles a spiderweb of tubes. In Marvel's world, Madam Web creates her tapestry of wit, wisdom, wallabies, webs, of course, webs. Coming back to the movie, Madam Web, which has a similar rating of 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, wasn't able to impress either the critics or the audience. It was developed in 2019, given a green light in 2020, filmed in 2022, and allegedly underwent reshoots last year. It was envisioned as a way to extend Marvel and Sony's Spider-Man universe, a business, if not creative, sense decision following the surprise success of both Venom and Into the Spider-Verse in 2018. In a film anxious to pretend to be something that it isn't, an ancient clairvoyant known in the comics for supporting Spider-Man is transformed into a young paramedic, played by Dakota Johnson, who has no idea that Spider-Man exists. Such perplexity was evident in the release of last year's trailer, which quickly went viral due to its laughably unsure tone, muddled plot, and checked-out leading woman. Grimly aware of the changing tides, it's now being referred to in marketing materials as a gritty suspense thriller, with Johnson emphasizing during press conferences that it's a standalone film in its own universe. The early buzz for Madam Web, starring the gorgeous Dakota Johnson, has hit the superhero scene. Let's just say it's not exactly jumping from skyscrapers with delight. The film, which aims to tell a classic superhero story through Madam Web's journey into her powers, also features a spider-packed cast including Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, and Celeste O'Connor. So, what is the critics' verdict? Drum roll, please. It sucks. Why did that sound like Chewbacca? Madam Web debuted in theaters on Valentine's Day. Weird. Here's Cupid's arrow, missed the mark with some critics. While Dakota Johnson deserves a gold star for her outstanding performance, the screenplay and editing got caught up in a sticky situation. A fan tweeted, #Madam Web is a cringy mess. A group of excellent actors are caught up in what is arguably the strangest comic book film I've ever seen. What about the dialogue? Stickier than a spiderweb. What about the editing? More embarrassing than my high school dancing routine. My mom says I'm cool. I sat there, perplexed, scene by scene, wondering who gave this the green light. The memes could save it, but it is a big might. It appears that Madam Web may need a little more superhero spidey sense to disentangle its web of conflicting reviews. Can it make a comeback with a chuckle and meme? Only time will tell, but right now, the verdict appears to be a web of confusion. It might look good on the surface, like what we've seen with Shazam 2, but it fails in execution despite the extraordinary cast. Going into the depths of the movie, Johnson plays the intriguing Cassandra Webb. In the movie, she goes by the name Cassie Webb, but with a twist. She is not your usual Madam Webb. No, this version is a paramedic who trades in her crystal ball for some medical equipment. Talk about a career change. Sydney Sweeney joins the Spidey crew as Julia Cornwall, the superhero. But hold your web shooters, these aren't your typical spider people. Forget radioactive Spidey bites. These friends have some truly messy origin stories under their sleeves. And who knows how they'll get their Spidey powers. It's a web-spinning mystery, but we're listening. Julia Cornwall, formerly known as Julia Carpenter in comic books, gains her talents as a result of a government experiment gone wrong. Venom and exotic plant extracts, the works. She is more than simply Spider-Woman. She has also used the heroic name Arachne. Now, Celeste O'Connor is stepping into Maddie Franklin's Spidey shoes. The third time's the charm, right? Maddie acquires her talents through a magical ceremony known as the Gathering of Five. Supersonic flying and psionic spider legs, the entire deal. She even had her own Spider-Woman comic book series before her unexpected death and resurrection. What a thrilling experience on a spider ride. That famous saying. Last but not least, Isabella Merced steps in as Anya Corazon. which I believe is Spanish for cake. Anya has it all: gang battles, mysterious clans, and magical tattoos. Her origin tale reads like a Brooklyn-based superhero soap opera, and we are all for it. From Araña to Spider-Girl, Anya retains her Spidey powers, demonstrating that even in a world of magical clans, New York can still be a thrilling trip. But hold on to your Spidey senses, Madam Web isn't going too far into the comic book archives. It's all about creating a new web for these Spidey gals. But what about the villain? Is the antagonist in the black Spidey suit worth the hype or not? Let's find out. Ezekiel Sims is a figure pulled from the depths of Spider-Man comics and given a completely new web spin in the film. In the trailers, you've seen a Spidey-like baddie dressed in a sleek black outfit. Hold your spider horses! A reinvented Ezekiel Sims, not Venom, is making a frightening entrance? Now, in the comics, Ezekiel never wore the evil crown. Depending on the storyline, he served as either a mentor or a foil. Consider this: magical ceremonies, spider totems, and a mysterious web of life. This person gained spidery abilities long before Peter Parker's catastrophic spider bite. Ezekiel's comic voyage takes a mystical turn as he assists Peter in defeating Morlon, a multiverse vampire with a desire for spider totem powers. Things get much spicier when Ezekiel goes into battle against the Gatekeeper, a supernatural figure hell-bent on selecting who deserves spider abilities. Talk about twisted webs! Get out of here, you Morlon. In a selfless deed, Ezekiel kills himself, revealing Peter as the genuine hero worthy of the spider mantle. Here comes the cinematic twist. You won't get a scene-by-scene comic adaptation. Madam Web is all about reworking these secondary Spider-Man characters into a new storyline. The film appears to be drawing on their rich, interwoven, and mystical backstories, pouring them into a cinematic cauldron, and crafting an original plot that is far from your typical comic adaptation. This head-scratcher, which runs 110 minutes, begins with a clunky opening in 1970s Peru, setting the tone for an odd narrative involving our protagonist and, you guessed it, spiders. After 30 years, she's a paramedic in a universe where Spider-Man is only a fading memory. A near-death experience reveals her unique power to see into the future, laying the groundwork for a confusing story about 3 imperiled teenagers. The film was created by 4 minds, including director S.J. Clarkson, and transforms Boston into a New York stand-in. The disorganized and mediocre quality of Madam Web makes it a terribly appealing case study of bad studio cinema in the 2020s. Attempts to reframe it as a suspense thriller fail because suspense and thrills are as rare as a spider in a snowstorm. Don't anticipate grit or reality. This picture is silly and schlocky. Madam Web gets submerged in poorly written exposition, disinterested action, and language that is both unfunny and inelegant. As a bonus, it includes some blatant product placements, with Pepsi playing a prominent role in important dramatic moments, such as the grand climax at the Pepsi-Cola sign in Queens. Yeah, baby! That's a real thing. Dakota Johnson's performance is, to say the least, distracting? Disinterested? But comparatively, it's the best in the film. Paired with co-stars Sydney Sweeney and Zosha Mamet, the trio gives performances that feel out of place and muted, contributing to the film's overall misjudged lethargy. Madam Web also makes several perplexing moves, such as omitting any mention of Spider-Man and ending with teens dressed as superheroes, all while distorting a classic passage about power and responsibility. In the end, Madam Web has audiences scratching their heads. It's a mystery wrapped in a painful Wikipedia entry, a soulless boardroom product that heralds the end of an era for superhero flicks like this. While superhero films aren't extinct, Madam Web appears to be a relic of a bygone era, created by no one who cares about anyone who wants to watch. Well, to all the superhero fanatics, I want to share something important with you guys. This isn't your go-to party. Rather, it's a tangled web after Spider's dance party that you should be avoiding to spend time with your loved ones, as some of us wasted it while watching this. However, it's your time, your money, and your decision in the end. And that's all from my end, folks. What are your views on Madam Web? Do you think they wasted good characters with this film? Or do you see the potential? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for regular updates. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one.